Welcome, 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 everyone. I have not gotten a chance to get the message out to everybody, but hopefully you will enjoy this show. This is going to be a special one for the girls, for the ladies, for the sisters, and maybe some brothers. But I want to bring this discussion to the forefront for you with my friend, my classmate. I my and listen, we are long overdue to do this. So she is an esteemed woman. Let me just tell you, she is coming to talk to us about hair. However, she is a leader, feminine leader, quintessential feminine leader in her own right, owning her own brokerage, doing real estate, is a mother, a wife, and really just a creative, truly a stylist. Like literally, I'm gonna tell y'all publicly, if I wanted somebody to style me, other than the other two people I have, it would be this woman. Her style is classic, her spirit is authentic, and I've always seen Tammy Moore. Of course, I want to honor her last name too, but I've always seen Tammy be one who, once she gets something that's good, she shares it with others. And I regret that we did not spend more time in high school together. Even though we've known each other, I want to share with you all my high school friend, and who is a quintessential feminine leader. You'll see it for yourself. Welcome to the stage, everybody, Tammy Moore. You can tell them a little bit more about yourself as well. Take yourself off mute.
Yes, I was looking for the mute, but thank you so much for that that introduction. I'm honored to be here, honored that you asked me to be here. And I am a native. We're both natives of Vicksburg, Mississippi. And I always say great things come from small cities, and we are living proof of what God can do. I've been in the mortgage industry for over 22 years, and I am licensed in 13 states, but I feel like everything that God has assigned to me is a ministry. So
Yes.
my customers have coined me the minister of mortgage. And I try to have 5 pillars that I focus on in life. I know that I've been called to educate, empower, and encourage women, especially women, to live their best lives. So all things finances, all things fashion, all things fitness, faith. And, I try to cover and find natural hair. We cannot leave India out. So I'm honored to be here today.
Yes, I'm so honored to have you. So you've always managed to share, like it's so much to talk to you about. So tell us a little bit how you got into the mortgage industry, because you own your own company, yes, and you have a team of employees, and you're helping people around credit. How did you get there? I'm inviting some people as well while you're talking.
Okay, so this is an amazing God story. So it took me a long time to get pregnant with my son. And so when I finally got pregnant with him and had him, I got laid off on my job.
Okay.
I was off work, and one of my really good friends was refinancing his house, and he didn't understand the paperwork. And he asked me to look it over. And so I looked it over, and I had some questions. So I called the loan officer, who I thought was a loan officer at the time, and just told her that I was helping him with this paperwork and I had some questions. And she said, "How do you know to ask all these things?" I mean, I had built a house and all that stuff, but just the details of I knew a lot of behind the scenes things. So she said, "Come see me." And so I told her, I said, "Well, I just had a baby. He's 6 months old." She says, "Bring him in with you." So I came into the office, sat down with her, not knowing she was the owner of the company. And she offered me a job on the spot. She said, "There's something special." She trained me, mentored me, taught me everything she knew. And then in 2009, right after the market crashed, she passed away in 2018. But in 2009, right after the market crashed, we had the opportunity to start our own company. So I was one of the initial investors and shareholders of Diamond Residential. And we have built what we call a can-do culture A lot of people will run your credit and say they can't do it, and they won't tell you what you can do to buy later. And so
Mm-hmm.
my saying is, it's not if, it's when. So I just try the easiest way for us to build generational wealth is through home ownership. So I have prided myself for 23 years on helping people with credit repair, helping them with financial freedom. And so that's how I started in the mortgage industry. It was all God.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's amazing. You walked in and that was the owner and she trained. Listen, what talk about a divine setup. And now you're doing the same for others.
I'm doing the same thing. I have 3 offices. I have a team. I have an office in Waukegan, and I have 2 offices in Georgia, one in Decatur and one is in Fayetteville.
Wait a minute, Fayetteville, Georgia?
Mhm.
Oh yeah, we gotta talk.
I do.
Did I know
I think we talked about it briefly.
that? Okay.
That I have an office down there. Yeah.
Oh
Absolutely.
wow.
Yeah. Mhm.
And you do it with so much grace.
Thank you. I do
Now,
it because I know it's a calling. I know that God blessed me to do it. And I know that, I used to, my husband will tell you, when I first started in the business, I used to be so stressed out. I used to wake up at night and be thinking someone threw papers away. And I've learned to balance it all because I was trying to do too much. And I remember one time I was working on a Saturday when my son was small, and AstroHD, who is my mentor, she told me to pack up my stuff and go home. She goes, "You'll never get these years back with your child." And so I've always been able to balance because she, was able to direct me not to just overconsume myself, because you can't want something more for someone than they want for themselves. So I had to learn that, because it would just engulf me. Whenever I do something, I put my all into it, but I still do. But now it's just so rewarding to see people in the grocery store, see people everywhere that you've helped, and then have their children come along. It's nothing like it.
wow. Yeah, now that is, I can relate to that, particularly as a coach. Just you wanting people to win, you being fully invested in the win. And when you start talking about generational wealth, oh my goodness, I think I'm gonna have to have you back on another show because generational wealth is such a big conversation. And we come from a place where a lot of people was just trying to get by. And man, we we possibly put our heads together and own the whole town.
Right. That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
So you ended up in mortgage, and then you've gone on to do some other great things. Tell me a little bit how you got into fashion.
So I have always been into fashion since I was like 3 years old. Like, the to be honest with you, how I got into fashion is because all I got was hand me downs, and we know about that. And all I got was hand me downs, and all of my aunts were stylish. All of them had grace and style, and they would always give me their things, and I would take them and make them my own. Like, I would slit jeans and feed ribbon through them, and all those different things. So I would always take a normal outfit and make it my own. And so I've always had a unique style. Sometimes maybe not popular. I was called weird at sometimes, but it was my style, and I just owned it.
When were you called weird, Tammy? I don't remember you ever
I
being
was
called weird.
so I was so weird in middle school because no one knew that I was, repurposing hand
Creative.
me downs. Yeah.
Hmm.
So it didn't look like anything anybody else had. If I had the Jordache jeans, they might have been old, and I might have done something different to them. But I made it my own. And so I've just always adapted that I can only show up as me. And so this is what you get. Whether
Right.
it looks wonky, whether it looks crazy to someone else, it's who I am.
Right. Yeah, I understand that too. So this topic of getting you to hair, like how you transition from mortgages and fashion, and we've done keto together too. See, I
Yes.
remember that
Yes.
you were a voice and out there with keto. Are you still doing that?
No, I don't do keto anymore. I do eat carbs now. Because
Okay,
now I'm in menopause, and I realize that in order to feed my hormones, my body needs carbs. So I have pivoted. That's a
honey,
whole
that
other discussion, right?
you already know. You already know, because we could talk about that forever. But I think it does connect to the topic of hair. This one, a lot of people ask me, about my hair being curly, or they'll just be dismissive and say, "Oh, well, you can do that," especially if they know my family. I come from a family with pretty strong genes around hair and curly hair and that type of thing. But I'll never forget, I told the story a little bit in the advertisement that um I was sitting at a table having lunch with a sister, and she had her hair in the curls. And I was like, I really want to be able to do that. And she said, "You can."
Yeah.
I said, "Oh no, my hair doesn't do that. It frizzes, and I can't, no way. I've tried, honey, and it just becomes a whole mess, a tangly mess." She said, "You can."
Mm-hmm.
Mine was too. Somebody taught me. I said, "What?" She said, "Yeah." And so she gave me the woman's information, and it is an investment to go to a tight curl specialist. Is
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're called, y'all, tight curl specialists. But you have moved, and oh wait, I got to get to the rest of the story. So then, I'm a researcher, Gemini. I research, I dive all the way into things. Wait a minute, this is a thing. So now I'm like, this is a real thing, and I saw your face.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Huh, somebody else I know is doing this," and so I was so happy on this side when I saw your face. How did you get there?
Well, I went natural in 2014. And the thing about it is I contemplated for 2 years before that. I really wanted to do it. And I was scared. Like nobody around me was natural, nobody that I knew, nobody in my family. And I did not really realize how attached I was to my hair. Like that's why I named her India, because it's the song India Re, I Am Not My
Oh,
Hair.
yeah, yeah.
I'm like, I am so my hair. So I just decided, I told my husband, I'm like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to big chop. And so September 26, 2014, this is how crazy I was. I already had a wig on deck. I told my stylists, I'm like, make me a short wig, because when I big chop, I'm not going to wear I had already resolved I wasn't going to like how I was going to look, right?
Okay.
Speaking negative on my hair. So I went in, I got the big chop. And when I tell you, I cried for months. My hair didn't look nothing like I thought it was going to look. My curls, if you open up a pen that you write with, the spring, that's how tiny my curls are. I didn't know what to do with it. I had looked on YouTube. Everybody's hair didn't look like mine. Like there was nobody's hair that looked like mine. And so I'm a researcher too. And so
Okay.
I researched and tried. And I would have so much oil in my hair, it would be running down my face. Um, I was just, and I only had this much hair. So it was just like, they said Jamaican black castor oil make your hair grow. I'm put it in there. They said,
Yep.
and so I found the max hydration method. That was the first thing that I did.
Yep,
And
me too. I did that one
yeah,
too.
and
The three steps.
I saw my real curls for the first time.
Oh,
And that was it for me. So then I continued on researching, and in 20, one of my favorite stylists, Elise Harris, mentioned she did Kim Lewis's hair, who's the owner of Curl Mix, and she mentioned that they used to be a DIY company where you could buy it and mix it up yourself. Oh, I made my own products, mixed everything up. I did all of that, kitchen mixtures. I did all that stuff. So she says she's going to start her own product line, and she's coming out with, the first thing is a flaxseed gel. She goes, and I recommend you all get it. And I did. And it was no turning back from there. So I started using Curl Mix along with other products. I use other products too, Uncle Funky's, all those ones that we
yep,
use.
yep.
But Curl Mix somehow really worked well for my hair. Curl Mix and Kinky Curly works really good. And
Okay.
so, I was using Curl Mix and my hair was growing and it was flourishing. And then in 2016, I went and got my hair straightened to get it trimmed. That was my first trim. I was like, just search and destroy. I went to a stylist and I didn't know any better because I have really, really fine hair. And so she straightened it and silk pressed it, and I got heat damage. I
Oh,
was
wow.
devastated. And I had to start over. So I made so many mistakes. And I said, I promised myself that I would share my journey. So maybe I could prevent some other people from having to go down the same road that I did. I could share my good, the bad, the ugly, and you could take the meat and spit out the bones and decide. And so in 2022, God is just all over everything. So in
I know that's right.
2021, I put on my vision board. I do a vision board every year that I wanted to be a hair model, because if you look at most of the companies, nobody has tight curls. Everybody has these, loose, big curls. And for somebody like me who's struggling, or someone who has different curl texture, you have to be able to see what's possible. So representation matters. There was no representation. So I put on there that I wanted to be a hair model. And I put Curl Mix was my number one company. Do you know that Curl Mix called me in December? I was in the Curl Mix group, but they called me in December of 2021 and asked me if I would model a new hair product that they were coming out with, which was a Luscious Lotus line. And I was just like, really, guy, you gonna do it like that? So I modeled that line, and the rest is history. While I was modeling that line, they were so impressed with how well I knew their products and how I knew how much to apply. And, I did my hair on the spot in the shower for the advertisement. The photographer mentioned, she said, we're starting a master class where we're going to teach people how to master their curls in 21 days. She goes, I think you would be an excellent coach. Are you interested? And I said, of course I am. I was just like, this is my chance to really pour into some ladies. And my first master class was March of 2022. And I've been doing it for over
In
2 years.
Atlanta, I missed you. I think, wasn't it in Atlanta?
Well, I've been in Atlanta. I went to Florida, but they're virtual. The classes are virtual, and I literally get in the shower and show you how to do your hair, and then answer questions and give suggestions the whole month. But for me to see, there's ladies that started the class that now their curls are just, to see them just go from not loving their hair to embracing their crowns and see their hair flourish. It's just like me helping somebody get a house. It's nothing like it. I mean,
You know what? I love it too. For myself, I love it for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I think hair is such an emotional thing for us. And we've been told so many lies. I call them in the title NAPPY lies.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've been taught, like for instance, Tammy, I learned that the reason why we put oil on our hair is because we didn't have anything else when we were in the Jim Crow South or slavery. So we just put oil to manage. So we're still doing, just like we're still eating slave food at times, we're still managing ourselves as slaves in many ways, or I would say fugitives or prisoners of war. But when you learn about the hair, can you talk about why black hair, quote unquote, 4C hair, because we know this about all the ones who have the loose curl textures, that they have moisture, but for some reason we think black hair needs to be greased, slapped down with oil and all of that.
And yeah, and just what you said, our hair has energy. When people tell me, oh, it's just hair, I'm like, nah, it's not just hair. But I had that problem with my hair with tight curls. We seem to think society would have us to believe, because we don't have as much representation with tight curls. We don't see it. Society would have us to believe that we have to do all these extra things to our hair, and you really don't. Our hair, everybody has a curl pattern. It's just different. And if you put a lot of oil on your hair, you're blocking the moisture out. So that is why our hair looks so tight. It is because you have blocked in the moisture. And if you notice, like if you have natural hair, everybody knows day one, your hair is hanging, right? Day two, it shrinks up a little more. That water is leaving your hair. So if you put grease on your hair, you have blocked out any grease. Does exactly what it's supposed to do. It locks the water in, but it doesn't let anything get in. It doesn't let anything get out. So when you have tight curls, your hair is not unmanageable. It's just dry. It's just not hydrated, because my hair is tiny as they come, but it's hydrated. So we're looking for a magic potion. There is no magic potion. There is no magic potion for your hair.
Now, come on, I want you to say this for people in the back and up on the bleacher section up there, that our hair is not hydrated. Can you talk a little bit more about hydration? Because hydration, and when we talk about the woman's body, it's so important, but we seem to still think it's what we do on the outside, which is so spiritual. When we think about this conversation, for me, I'm really practicing discipline right now because I'm listening to you and my spirit is talking about other things. But go
Yeah.
ahead.
But you're right, because it's an inside job. Whenever I teach a masterclass, I tell them that, I remember when I was little, my grandmother used to tell me all the time, your hair is just like a plant. If you water it and nurture it, it'll grow. And she used to always talk to her plants. Yeah, talk to your hair. That's why I named her, because she has her own energy. She has her own attitude. India might look good one day and we learn it the next day, but you have to feed your hair from the inside out. Putting a lot of products on the outside is not going to help it be healthy. So you've got to drink your water. Your hair, under your hair is skin. And so if your body is dehydrated, then your scalp is dehydrated. And if you have a plant that you only water when it's thirsty, if you look at it, it never grows. It stays the same size. It's thirsty. It's like, oh, thank God you watered me. Now I can continue to live.
I got one right over here.
But it never thrives. It never grows. But if you water a plant on a consistent basis, make sure that it has sunlight, and make sure that it's nurtured and cared for, it'll grow as big as its surroundings. So if you don't repot it, it's going to be stagnant. But it's the same thing with your hair. Your hair can do whatever you want. It can achieve lengths that you never thought were imaginable if you take care of it. But you can't water it today, hydrate it today, wash it today, and not tend to it for 4 more weeks, because it is thirsty. It is dry. So when you're rehydrating it, all you're doing is replenishing it. You're not giving it a surplus to grow.
Wow. Okay. So the natural community is notorious, natural hair community is notorious for having so many products. In fact, I have to really check myself. I'm like getting even turned off with my wash and goes, because I feel like I have so many products, Tammy, right now. I'm like, because you're talking to someone who has been locked for the better part of 15 years. And I'm just now coming back to handle my hair strand outside of locks. And, when you're locking, this same rule applies to locks, y'all, in terms of hydration and moisture. But what I don't welcome or don't enjoy is the amount of products that I have to purchase, research, and all of that. Can you talk a little bit about why products are important? Because all products are not the same even.
They're not. And you have to remember too, product companies are answering a call. So if we're always saying our hair is dry, we're always saying our hair is unmanageable, they're going to create a product for us because they know we're going to buy it. We spend the most money on hair products in the world. But when you are starting, I will say this, when you are starting out, it's going to be necessary for you to try different things. But most of you are not trying them long enough. You try one time, 1 week, and if it doesn't work, then you toss it to the side and you buy something else. You need to give everything at least 4 tries or 30 days to work, because what you can do is, and I believe in note taking. I believe in having some type of journal. There's a couple of hair journals out there. There's Crown Chronicles. There's a hair journal that you can download. I keep track of everything. I take notes and I take pictures, because like if I have a bomb wash and go, like a picture will pop and I'll be like, what did I use on my hair that day? I can go back and see, and it also allows you to see progress, because sometimes we're our own worst enemy. Like someone will tell you your hair looks great and you'll think you won't like it. But if you go back and look at your progress, you'll say, okay, 6 months ago, my hair looks way better now. But what I recommend for products, you need a shampoo. You need a clarifying shampoo. You need a hydrated shampoo. You need a conditioner, a deep conditioner. You need a moisturizer, and you need, if you're doing gel, like for me, I'm going into a season as of September that I'm going to be twisting my hair up, but I'm going to twist it every week. I do the same thing with my son's hair, and his hair is down his back. but I'm going to wash it. I'm going to shampoo, condition, style it, twist it up, and rinse and repeat. But it's the same thing with you. You don't need a ton of products because it's more about your technique than it is about the product. I can make any product work on my hair as long as the ingredients are good. I'm an ingredient snob, so I'm always reading ingredients to make sure they have good ingredients. It's not a lot of fillers. But if you can make any product work on your hair as long as you know how to apply it. The most important thing that I will tell you is to know what your hair looks like wet and what it looks like dry, because that way you will, whether you're using a new product or a different product, you'll know how much to use. You'll go, okay, this is how this, like, let's use Curl Mix, for example. Okay, this looks the same as Curl Mix, or this looks the same as Uncle Funky's. You try a new product, you know how much to put on your hair. But
Well, that product thing is definitely a big thing because I went to go get some products from the beauty supply that outside of the recommendation, because well, let me go back. My stylist, my tight curl spot stylist recommended products based on my texture
that's
and
right.
and the moisture levels that my hair needed. And I thought, oh yeah, whatever, I'm gonna save some money. And I went and I tried something else, and I absolutely saw the difference. What are some of the things we should be aware of when we talk about ingredients? And I'm going to get to your question, Cheryl.
You should be aware of botanical and natural ingredients. And you should be aware of what your hair loves and does not like. Like, some people have an aversion to essential oils. So you don't want any parabens, you don't want silicones. And if it's a moisturizer, if the product says it's a moisturizer, water should be the first ingredient. So water, products with glycerin are going to make your hair more moisturized in the summer. And in the wintertime, if there's no moisture in the air, it pulls the moisture out. So you would know you would need a leave-in under a product with glycerin. But what you said something too, when you said you were coming out of locks, and she literally gave you a prescription for your hair. Just like you go to the doctor. Your prescription for your hair is not going to be the same as mine. And that's one thing that I explained. What works for me may not work for you. So that's what we did. I know that's what I did in the beginning. I watched somebody on YouTube and I go, oh, I'm going to go buy all of that. Not even knowing the condition of their hair, not knowing what they're doing on the back end, if they're using protein treatments. They're not telling you all of those things. That is where partnering with the tight curl specialist or a great hairstylist comes in, because they're evaluating your hair. A person online has never seen or touched your hair. Also, too, you mentioned something about coming out of locks. If you've been in braids, say, for example, someone that's been in braids for 6 months, their hair is dehydrated. So you're going to first have to rehydrate it, just like you do that plant. You got to rehydrate the hair first, because it's not going to reach its full potential until it knows you're going to give it water consistently, just like your body. If you just drink when you're thirsty, your body's always thirsty. But if your body knows you're going to constantly give it water every hour or so, it hydrates. You're not as bloated. Your skin is not as dry. Your hair is the same. So if you've been in braids or locks, give yourself some grace. It's going to take you some time. Once your hair is hydrated, it'll be a whole new head of hair.
Let's talk a little bit more about the braids, because the other thing that I Am Black Girl Curls, who I love, does so much education on Instagram. She really destroyed the idea of protective styles. We talk about protective styles. And if you're watching on Instagram, please join us on YouTube, Rebirth with Latanya on YouTube. This live won't stay up, so I only put it here for awareness. So please join us. But when we talk about protective styles, that's not going to stop us from getting braids, right? And the other, and then what you said in terms of washing it or shampooing it is the proper name. Did you know that I went to cosmetology school?
I didn't.
I forgot to tell you that. I went to cosmetology school, and they taught us in cosmetology school, never say wash your hair. It's shampoo your hair. So I was correcting myself. But with this method, the wash and go of the tight curl method, it's to wash your hair every week so that it can get to that moisturized state. But what happens when you have a quote unquote protective style and you're not trying to wash your hair every week with those styles because it gets fuzzy?
Well, first of all, you got to remember that when you add hair to your hair, there's friction.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're braiding it, regardless, pulling it up, that's just friction. So what that's doing is rubbing against your natural hair. So it's drying it out. Because even if you over manipulate your hair and it's not in braids, it dries faster. So number one, you're competing with that you have friction in your hair, and then you're not hydrating it. So imagine if your body is used to getting water every day and you go 3 days without water, you're going to be pretty thirsty. So if you are used to watering your hair every week and you go 3 weeks without putting any type of water on your hair is going to be thirsty. I always recommend rinsing your hair in the shower with your braids and, shampooing the scalp, because at some point you're going to have to take those braids out. And if you've ever had a braid, a protective style in for a long time, and you take it out, there's lint balls at the crown of that. Means that's just accumulated. All that is what you would have been washing out on a weekly basis. So if you leave that in there, you're damaging your hair. So they always say protective styles aren't protecting anything. They're not. They're just an alternative style. But you can say, do you want it to be a setup or a setback? Because 3 weeks after, 4 weeks later, is it going to set you back 2 months? Are you going to have breakage? Is your hair going to be dry? You're going to have to trim more than normal? Or am I going to maintain it? Am I going to rinse it? Am I going to shampoo it? Get some spray a little moisturizer in it so that when I take my braids out, I'm right where I'm supposed to be. That's up to you.
You're right, because I learned this years ago when I had sister locks. When I had sister locks, the first thing that they tell you with sister locks is do not put oil on your hair. You do not put oil on sister locks. And a part of the first 3 months of sister locks is for it to detox. Your scalp detoxes from all of the buildup. So it's just you and your hair, so that your natural oil can come to the surface. And it's true. When you go through those 3 months of no oil, what happens is they have a method as well for sister locks. And one of the things that you do is massage your scalp and then pull whatever the sebum to the end, and you can see the evidence of the oil that's already in your body in your scalp. So there are other philosophies that support this, and sister locks came from learning in Africa. And I don't even think they put as much oil in African hair as much as we do in America.
Our body is amazing. The reason we don't get as much sebum is because we don't give our hair a chance to produce it, because we're putting stuff over it. If you give yourself time, there's I think she's Green Beauty, she's used to do a lot of YouTube videos. She always talks about the sebum. She shows how she massages her scalp and she pulls the sebum down her strands, and how her hair produced after she allowed it to produce its own oil. It's amazing. So, and it is consistency and commitment. A lot of people are just not willing to commit the time, because in the beginning, I had to commit a lot of time to my hair. It was like a second job, but I got it to the point to where I could maintain it. But you do it for everything else. So why not do it for yourself?
Yeah, this will be a good segue, you all, for you to ask your hair questions, particularly if you have breakage, if you want to go natural, if you've done the big chop, or if you just don't like your natural hair, or you want to learn more about your natural hair. This will be a good time to share in the comments. If you're on Instagram, please come over to YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Rebirth with LaTanya. The link should be in the stories, is in my bio, but this conversation is too good. All of y'all should be in here. I'm pretty sure you're going to ask questions when you watch the replay. So put them in the comments, tag Tammy, tag me, so that even Tammy can come back and answer some of the questions. Now, one of the things I will confess, Tammy, I get tired of just the wash and go, because I like a little variety. I like to mix it up, and I want to break. I feel like sometimes I'm manipulating my hair because my hair tangles so easy with all of the curls. Like they just want to hang out and wrap around each other all the time. So what I learned, I did wasn't detangling properly. Can you talk
Yeah,
about detangling? Like there is a whole science to real detangling.
it is. I get, you know what? I get tired of wash and go too. I waited until my curls were healthy, and then I started to twist and pull it up in a bun and do all those things. But I do too. I like to have, and I style my hair based on my outfits. So if this outfit calls for a bun or it calls for a head wrap or something, I'll switch it up. But
Okay.
detangling is so important, whether you use your fingers or whether you use a brush. I use my fingers about 90% of the time. And then whenever I clarify my hair, I use a brush. Because what's happening is when we were relaxed, we have to remember our hair is not that much different from when we were relaxed. When we were relaxed, when you would be brushing your hair, you would see those hairs, the shedding. Well, it's the same thing when you're natural, except for your hair is so tightly wound, it gets caught up in there. So when you are shampoo, I call it a spa day. So when you are doing your spa day, just you and your hair, me and Indy in the shower, take your time and go through and get those shed hairs out of your hair. Detangling is very important because what happens is our hair loves on each other. So it'll wrap around, the shed hair will wrap around and then tangle up and you'll have knots on your hair. So detangling is very important to make sure it's no different than when we were relaxing. Or you got to be a little more gentle with your hair.
Listen,
Take.
you're right. I am guilty. I have not been so gentle, and that's what I'm talking about, ladies. If you're watching, this will fortify your relationship with yourself.
Mhm.
Because I thought to myself, why aren't you being gentle with your hair? You wouldn't let anybody else come and comb your hair the way you are combing it, parting it, or rushing or whatever. And I honestly, I have so much hair, Tammy,
Mhm.
and I don't care when I twist my hair, it looks like I don't have nothing. I look
Mhm.
bald pretty much. I don't care how long it is. But then when you start taking it out and taking and
If
taking
it,
it out, it's the weird. I don't even know what kind of head of hair this is. But detangling, I just got to a point where I'm seeing less and less in my
Mhm.
brush. I was about to go lock my hair again because that's why I locked the last time. I was seeing so much in my brush. I
Mhm.
was like, this cannot be good. And so I was like, and my hair, I have to say, she's so forgiving because as much as I would see, by the time I go to get my hair done, they say, you don't have nothing. It's
Mhm.
okay. But detangling is important. So we have a question here from Tony who says, I'm planning to cut my locks and will braid for a few months. Do you have any advice?
Yes, you're going to have to make sure that you have a really good hydration routine. So if you cut your locks and then you're going to go right into braids, what I would recommend that do when you cut your locks, before you go into braids, make sure your hair is cleansed, make sure you deep condition and make sure that it's moisturized. Because if you go into braids with less than favorable hair, then it's just going to be worse. But when you take your braids out, remember to give yourself some grace because it takes a couple of months, not even a couple of months. It may take you about 3 washes for your hair to say, okay, so we're not going to be in braids anymore because your hair is going to adapt to whatever environment you put it in.
Mhm.
So, just make sure that you shampoo it. Don't go more than a week. Make sure that you shampoo it, and I would deep condition each week for the first 3 weeks to make sure that it's in its optimal state, and then you'll start to see your curls start to come in. But also, when you get your hair hydrated, when you get it to a point of hydration, and you go back into braids, it's repeating. You have to do the same thing over because your hair has memory. Okay, we're in braids now. We're not going to get any water. Okay, now we're coming out. We're thirsty. So yes.
And the other thing is that when if for you to consider tight curls, consider coming right on into what does your natural hair want to do? Because that's the other thing is our hair kind of tells us what it wants, how it wants to be handled, and what it wants to do, and we force it. I have these flat twists in my hair right now. It'll be a week tomorrow, but I know as soon as I come back from my out of town, like I know that it's a priority. I can't wash and wet this because this is my hair. I don't have any hair added
Mhm.
into to the actual twist. I have a bun on top, but not any hair added. So, what is the best quote unquote protective style, because I use that language lightly, knowing what I know now, that nothing really is as is protecting us, our hair, like that.
Well,
So
actually, if you twist your own hair, that is the best one because it's your own.
oh,
Yeah, because you don't have any hair in it, you don't have any friction. And even my son, he wears twists, and so we only do his hair every 2 weeks. When I take his hair down every 2 weeks, it's moisturized. It's still completely moisturized. And I will say this, I don't want to forget to say this. Um, if you love your hair, it will love you back. For years, I know for 100% for a fact, the reason why I could not get India the way that I wanted to is because I hated my hair. And I hated my hair because it did not look how I expected it to look. And I did not accept it. Once I accepted, girl, there is nothing that you can put on your hair that's going to loosen these curls, that's going to make them any bigger. You're going to have to roll with it, or you're going to have to go back to a relaxer. Once I really started to nurture it for what it was, it started to flourish because my hair shrinks to the motherland. It's long when I go get it trimmed. It's never going to show full length until it's like down to my butt. And I'm okay with that. You got to be okay with what God gave you, because you have to remember He trusted you with it. He wouldn't have
yeah,
given it to you if He did not know that you would know what to do with it. And I feel like if you show the possibilities of what your hair can do, just like you saw that lady at lunch and you said, I want my hair like that. She was just walking advertising for the possibilities of what your hair could do.
yeah.
So
I want my curls to hang long to past my ear, but my stylist said, "Sweetheart, your hair is going to grow out like this." And sure enough, if you saw my fro just the other day, it's out like this. And she said, then it'll drop. She
someone
said,
told me, years ago, when I was natural, they said our hair grows toward the sun. It grows
yes,
up,
it does. Well,
out,
there's a
and
science
then
to it.
down. Yes.
Well,
And I was,
I'm trying not to get into it right now with this, but we are considered, ladies, for those of you who are watching, we are the nine ether beings. Nine ether because our hair does the spiral.
Mhm.
And so when you study the nine ether beings, it is the mother of civilization. We are the carbonated beings. And so you're right, our hair is designed to grow to the sun.
Mhm.
And so that is why spiritual, this also has a spiritual message in terms of antennas. It has our femininity. Hair is a big part of that we have been so disconnected to, and permed out of, and chemically treated out of, and also an illusion. Let's talk. I don't want to get too far because Tony wants to confirm that you're saying wash it while it's in braids. And
Yes, I
yes,
am saying that
yep,
at least 2 weeks in. At
yep.
least 2 weeks in to wash it while you're in braids. And I will say this just to you know, add on to what you were saying about your hair. I remember when I went natural, I realized in my spirit this was deeper than hair. Like, girl, you about to go through a whole, like, you really have to address all your insecurities. You have to address all of your fears of society not accepting you because your hair looks different. People asking you questions, how do you get your hair like that, and all those things. I mean, it is a spiritual journey. So when you get ready to go natural, be ready for God to open you up. It's like broken open, because like I said, that's why I named her India. Cause I'm like, girl, I ain't worried about my hair. It's just hair. And I was like, dang, I'm really attached to hair. Like, I had a lady tell me, she goes, oh, I hope this don't affect your business with you going natural. I had someone
Oh,
open their mouth and say that.
oh, yeah. No, listen, wait a minute. If we're going to do confessions, I will tell you, so you may not know this, but I went through an initiation process that required me to cut my hair. And so but at that time I was doing television, a lot of television.
Mhm.
And I also had some gigs lined up for TV, and I was absolutely freaking out because the truth of the matter is Tabitha Brown is an exception. But many Black women in television in front of the camera end up having to wear wigs because
Yes.
of the way the audience responds to us with short hair, with kinky hair, with fros, and any other thing other than that doesn't look European. There are some newscasters that I know that have locks or straight, and they wear wigs on top of
Yes.
it. So you're right. It is a thing around business, and still in the South, this is a conversation about being natural. Now, I've been living up, in the mid-Atlantic area, or what people say up north. That is not a conversation in Washington, D.C., Maryland, Virginia. Women are natural and been rocking their natural hair. And I was in a process once. All the ladies in the South, Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, was freaking out about, they were coming into the knowledge of themselves and about healing and doing some work. We were fasting, we were working with Queen Afua, and they were all freaking out about their hair in the 2000s.
Yeah. I'm telling you, when I share my story, Curl Mix had me do a testimony on my story, and I was saying I'm from Mississippi, and everyone wants you to be prim and proper. And some ladies were like, surely in 2014, you weren't still dealing with them. Like, yes. When I would go home to Mississippi, they were like, what happened to your hair? Like, what are you doing? I mean, everybody has long, relaxed hair. But I will say, all of my cousins, all of them have went natural now. But it's almost like you just need to see someone do it and do it well, and the possibilities. That's why representation matters. But it is a thing. I mean, a lot of people think it's not a thing. It is a thing, and it's like whenever you step out and do something different, you're going to be criticized. That's why it's a spiritual journey, because you got to be comfortable with you, regardless of what people say. But down south, it's still a thing. Like my grandmother.
Trust me, it's a thing. My mama was looking at my head last weekend because I had twists and I didn't do anything, and it was just. She was like, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You about to let your hair grow? Did you cut your hair? You cut your hair again? I said, no, Mama, I didn't cut my hair. My hair is full, but right now, this is how I'm wearing it for trying to explain the stages of. But anyway, you already know. I don't want to lose. Now everybody wants to start talking on Instagram, and I want to catch their.
Let me answer this question. My curls are super tight to my head. How can I loosen them? So, Chantel, you just got to accept it. If you go back and look, if you go to my Instagram at Tammy P. Moore, I have my journey. My curls were tight to my head. Just as Tanya just said, your hair grows up first. So you're going to have a fro, and then it goes out, and then it grows down. So, and if you have tight curls, you have about 90% shrinkage. So your hair can hang down to here when it's blow dried and shrink up to here. Ask me how I know. Because
me too.
Yeah. So the best thing that you can do is say, I'm going to accept them as they are. And then there are products that like I Create Hold, that freeze the curls. They're not going to necessarily loosen them, but they're going to allow you to have more, what they call more elongation. But elongation honestly comes from hydration. Hydrated hair hangs. So if your hair is dry or it's not hydrated, it's going to shrink even more. What is a good twist pudding for a tight curl? So if a good twist pudding, I'm going to do a shameless plug. Curl Mix has curl creams that you can use. There's also mousses are very good. There's Pure Bella. She has a really good mousse with very good ingredients. She's a cancer survivor, and she created a mousse that has very good ingredients. It does not dry your hair out. Those are good twisting products.
Good. Okay, so my hair would tangle up when I took out my braids. I found a great shampoo and conditioner that gently detangles the hair. I don't add hair to cornrows. I do add crochet locks or style. But what's your question, Cheryl? What's your question? I don't know what the question is. Clarify for me there. Okay. And Tony says, I definitely went through that when I got my locks. It was definitely a spiritual experience.
It is.
And then Arlesia said, thank you for the information. Does the same hair hydration regimen work for toddlers? Very good question. Mm-hmm. My daughter likes curly balls. I want to better care for her natural hair. Thank you for coming in the room to represent the mothers and the little girls who are getting their hair damaged with straightening, pressing, yanking, and all. Oh my God, Arlesia, I'm so glad that you came into the room. Please speak to that, Tammy.
Because first of all, thank you for teaching your daughter that her natural hair is beautiful and that she doesn't have to do anything but wake up in the morning and go. and accept it as it is. I think we're raising a generation now that won't have the hair trauma that we had because they will never experience relaxers, and I love that for us. But what you can do for your daughter's hair, style it the way she wants. There's a lady that does Morning with Maddie's with her daughter online, Carmen Bell Conway. She does a great job. She lets her daughter tell her how she wants to style her hair. But here's how you can help her hair if you style it where you know it's going to be tangled. Spray it with a little water, take it in small sections, and use a conditioner. You can even mix the conditioner and water and pre-detangle her hair before you shampoo it. What that's going to do is it's going to loosen it up. It's going to get the tangles out, because when you shampoo it, if it's tangles in there, it just makes it worse. And we know kids, they only have a certain amount of time you have to do their hair. So, pre-detangle it. You can even twist it up, put a plastic bag on it, let it sit for like 20 minutes, and then shampoo it. It will change your shampoo day.
Wow. And it's also true that we should not handle our hair while it's dry, like in terms of
Detangling.
detangling and all of the things we do. I literally learned, all the times I reached out to you.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't putting enough water in my hair when even after I shampooed it and conditioner, I didn't realize that I needed to have much more water.
Lots of water. Water is a hydrate. And I didn't answer your question. The same hydration method works for a toddler as it does for us. Same thing. And the same thing with her hair. You got to remember, if you have not been doing it regularly, her hair is dehydrated too. So you just take that time and get it hydrated, and you have a whole new head of hair.
Oh, wow. That's so good. That's so good. Any more questions for the little girls? A lot of mothers are going to just start to lock the baby's hair. I've seen a lot of mothers who say, I don't do hair. So they're locking the baby's hair. So the little girl never has a relationship with her own texture.
Yeah. And let your children see you. Little girls want to be just like their mommies. So if they see you with their natural hair and see you loving it and see you speaking it, they will love theirs too. When you build that confidence at home and they go into the school, or they go into the extracurricular activities, nobody's going to be able to dim their light, because mama done already told them that their hair is a bomb. Mama done already told them their hair is beautiful and curly, and tell them how unique their curl pattern is too, because we did the same thing as kids, Tanya. I mean, we went to school and saw people's hair, and relaxers, and that made us want to. I remember my friend Bridget Harris got a Jerry curl, and I had long, relaxed hair down my back. And do y'all know I got my hair cut to get a Jerry curl? My hair has never been the same. So it's like nobody explained to me that my hair was fine the way it was. So you can change the narrative in your children and say, sure, her hair looks like this, but look how beautiful yours is, or your curls are unique to you. And I say your curls are as unique as your DNA. Even if you have twins, if you ever look at twins who have natural hair, it's not exactly the same.
Yeah. Our sister friend Karen Flags joined the chat. She was so excited. I was going to actually bring her up on the stage to join this discussion, but that's okay. We'll do another show with her. But she is always talking about the damage that women are doing. I think it could be a powerful show, because one of the things that I also learned before I let you go is that this hair that we're getting, this synthetically treated hair. One thing that you said, I want to do some points. One is that because it's a plastic, a lot of the synthetic hair is made from plastic. When we put our hair in, now, our sensitive hair is rubbing up against this plastic. So that's why it's getting the breakage, and that's number one. Then I found out, and then that hair is chemically treated. And then when we get human hair, it's also chemically treated and dyed. But what I found out recently is about how in other countries, sometimes they're cutting their hair as a spiritual process to release karma. And so basically they're sending their poverty prayers or prayers for to cut off or whatever is going on with them over to us. And so we're wondering why our women, our sisters, are experiencing some of the physical issues that a lot of fibroids have been connected to the relaxers, but imagine what's being connected to us putting this energy in on our crown. Like, are you aware of that? Like that they do these rituals in other countries? And
No, I didn't know that. But I mean, it makes perfect sense because someone else is having to lose in order for us to win. And someone else is having to cut their hair off. I mean, some people, you got to remember, some people are not just going up there volunteering to cut their hair. They're growing their hair as a business and cutting it off in order for them to make money. So like you said, you're taking in all their energy. And I will tell you this too, whatever concerns you concerns God. And I pray over my hair. I do. I literally leave nothing to chance about anything, about my business, about any little thing, because if it's in your mind, it's in your mind, your heart, God knows already. So if you have a desire for your hair, if you desire acceptance, if you desire, whatever it is that you desire, talk to God about it, because he hears and he cares about what concerns you. But yeah, to me, that makes perfect sense, because it's no different if you buy people's when you buy people's used things or their furniture. It's like you pick up all those spiritual energies. So you have to be careful what you attach yourself to, period. And that's whether that means relationships, that's everything.
yeah, I know we could definitely go there. I have done hair cutting ceremonies for my own self when it's time for, when the ancestors have guided me and said, hey, you're getting ready to go into a new season, you have to cut that off. And usually when that message comes, I'm already ready anyway. And
Mhm.
so, anybody else in the comments have any questions, particularly about tight curls? One of the things that you mentioned about clarifying. So one thing that I learned is somebody's going to listen to this show and go and try to do it, and you should try to do things on your hair, but there is a process. There's a methodology to the tight curl process.
Mhm.
Would you like to close us out just talking a little bit more about a person who's interested in the tight curl consultation and all of that?
Yes. So if you really want to learn how to master your curls, Curlmix has a free masterclass that you can join, or you can partner with a tight curl specialist like Tanya did. But I will tell you this about clarifying, just so I don't leave any thing left to chance. I only clarify my hair once every 3 to 4 months, and the reason is because I use natural botanical ingredients, and they're water soluble. And water soluble means that when I get into the shower or when I rinse my hair, those products rinse off. So sometimes you can over clarify your hair, like you can use a clarifying shampoo too much. Now, if you are just starting your journey, you've been using oils, you've been using butters, you've had braids, then you would want to use a strong clarifying shampoo, and then put it as, once your hair is clean, then you go with the moisturizing shampoo, each week until every 3 to 4 months. But that's going to be up to you. Your hair will tell you when it needs to be clarified. It's going to start, the curls won't look the same. The products will look like it has buildup. Your hair will talk to you. So everybody's journey is different. Just because I go every 3 to 4 months doesn't mean you can go every 3 to 4 months. I work out every day. I sweat, but I make sure that I rinse my hair. But that you want to have a process and you want to understand what you're doing to your hair. So join a masterclass. The Curlmix masterclass is free. If you go on curlmix.com and click join masterclass, it's every month. If you want, there's directories with tight curls. You can go on Instagram and find someone who does natural hair, and be mindful. You want to be seen and heard when you find somebody that does your hair. You want them to understand what you want to accomplish with your hair. They are the professional, but remember, you are with your hair more than anybody else. So, you need to have a say so in your hair, but, spend the coins in the beginning. You may have to spend a little money on product. And if you buy quality products, Tiny can attest to this, they last a long time. You're not going to run through them. But you need to invest in yourself. Look at it as an investment. Your hair will thank you later.
You're right. I'm sorry, I was on mute. So, listen, you do what? How do you rinse your hair every day after you finish
No, I
your
don't
work?
rinse. No, I don't rinse it every day. I work out every day. I do my hair once a week.
Oh, okay. No, I
Every
thought you were saying after your workout you
No.
rinse. Okay, okay, okay.
I was just saying
Okay.
some people might work out every day. And see, I used to do my hair twice a week because I worked out. But once my hair got hydrated, I only do it once a week because the less that you manipulate your hair, the more it will thrive. If you're in your hair every day, just like you said, you had to take a break. Like sometimes I will get overly, concerned or obsessed with my hair a little, and I'll twist it up because remember I told you hair has energy. I got other stuff I got to do. I got a million things on my plate. So I'll twist it up and wear. If you see me in head wraps for a couple of weeks, you're like, oh, she didn't put India away to rest, because you have to acknowledge that too. Because I don't want to go in there, and do my hair while I'm frustrated or anything either. But I don't neglect it. I never neglect my hair. So I make sure that I do it once a week, whether it's in twist or whether it's in a wash and go. And I
And
don't.
do you ever pull it back?
I do. I pull it back. I had it over the weekend. I had a bang and a bun. I pull it back in a bun. You can do flat twist. I do all of those things to my hair. I'll twist it and put I have a little cute little hat wig that I wear that I'll put, twist my hair up and put the hat wig on. That doesn't mean that you don't love your hair. That just means if I think that the wig gonna look cute with my outfit, I'm gonna wear it. So
Yeah.
that's my business.
Now I know curl mix is your thing, but I have to say this for those who are watching, if you can give some other alternatives, because
Yes.
curl mix does not work on my hair.
No, and it's a learning curve. So there is Uncle Funky's Daughter, there's Innersense, they have great products. I love I Create Whole. I love I Create Curl Memory. They have great shampoo, they have great conditioner. There's
I love the 808 line, the
yes,
80,
they
the
do.
crazy sexy honey, the crazy
Yes.
sexy curl, and the 808, and then there's another one. I like their line a lot.
The Dew has great products.
That's it.
Emba Naturals Hair Care, they now have a base gel and a topper gel. And these are all natural ingredients. These are all water soluble. They all rinse out of your hair. So, and that is true. It may not work for you, because for me, when I use curl mix, sometimes I use a topper. I'll use I Create Whole. I'll use Emba on top. So do what works best for you. There's Pure Bella. She has a product line. She has mousse, and she has leave-in. She has deep conditioner. There's a lot of product lines out there. But what I will remind you to do, if you try something, don't give up on the first time. Give it 4 tries. Regardless of what you use, give it 4 tries, and mix and match. You don't have to use one whole product line of one. You might love the flaxseed gel from Curl Mix and love it with I Create Whole. That's your business. That works for you. You may love Uncle Funky's and I Create Whole. You can mix and match what works for you.
Have you tried Donna's recipe?
I have. I've tried the conditioner. The only reason that I don't use Donna's recipe is it's oil heavy.
Yeah, so I wanted you to, because we tend to think that because it's a Black creator, they don't necessarily have the education, because Carol's daughter is too heavy for me. My hair never, me either, never worked for me. Shea Moisture, that's what I'm trying to say.
Shea Moisture,
that's how Carol's daughter is one of the ones who got bought out. Shea Moisture is not good for your hair. And how many of you all are using Shea Moisture? I'm sorry, I just got to call them out.
I started out with Shea Moisture, and that's why it never worked for me, because it was too heavy and it was too oil laden. And Donna's recipe, to me, is oil. It has a lot. If you read the ingredients, there's a lot of oil in it. So, I love me some Tabitha Brown.
Yeah, but she's coming over to the tight curl side. Somebody did a wash and go for her on her live the other day. Did you see it?
She had now she has a gel. She has wash and go she has wash and go products, and it's a vanilla line. So I didn't look at the ingredients of that yet. I will look at, because I'm an ingredient snob, so I got to look at the ingredients. But that's how you know what works for one person may not work. Because if you see somebody and they tell you they use something and it's full of oils, and you love a wash and go and all they wear is twist outs, well, that's not going to work for your wash and go. So
right. This is so good. There's so much more and so you listen. I didn't know that there was a thing such as a curl coach, but let's look at how many questions that we've asked, and I've sent Tammy because I trust her. I have a stylist as well. I'll reach out to my stylist, but if I can't get to my stylist, I will call Tammy and I will ask her a question about something that I'm getting ready to do, or a result that I'm not saying everybody else can do that. I'm her home girl. Everybody else can't do that. So she provided her website, If there's a freebie, it's going to be in the description. And if it's not there now, it will be added so that you can link up with Tammy. Also, Tammy has a Instagram channel where you can go really through her old history. Sometimes, y'all, can I give y'all free game? Sometimes you can go through a person's history in videos, and you can learn a whole lot. And by the time you're ready to show up, you already got the basic questions answered. Tammy answers a lot of stuff when she's doing her sessions in the shower live. She answers questions during the live. There's you, and plus she has so much style. You'll enjoy. Go follow my friend, y'all.
and I answer afterwards. If I see that you ask a question and you post it, I mean, if you inbox me and you have a question, I will, because I want all of us to win. So
yes.
All things, I'm ready to discuss all things natural hair, but there are a lot of videos, and in my videos, I use a lot of products. I'm using Emba, I'm using Curl Mix. There's one where I use the 808 gel from the Dew. There's Coco Bella's pure. I mean, there's a lot of different products that I'm using, and you will see my technique is the same. So yeah, there's different products. If if you're thinking about trying one, you can go and look in my description, go, let me see what she used this time. And then you can watch that video. If you have any questions, just let me know.
And she has a discount code. So go get all of that good stuff. So Tammy, I want to close out with our little ritual that we do here. I throw a word out at you and you finish it with a sentence of the first thought or inspiration that comes to your mind.
Okay.
So here in the rebirthology space, we build on the power of the P. And so the first one is purpose.
Find your purpose. When you find your purpose in your life, you find out what your passion is. I mean, I never knew in a million years that I would be doing some of the things that I'm doing, but I realized that God had equipped me all throughout my life for my purpose, because I look back when I was younger, I loved math, I loved calculators, I loved fashion, and all those different things. And so the one thing that I would remind you when you have children is to watch what they do and watch what they gravitate towards, and that will help them usher them into their purpose. So I feel like every day that I wake up, Lord, let me walk in my purpose. Let me do what you would have me to do. Let me say what you would have me to say, and let me assign to me who is assigned to me, and let me let go of who is not.
Ooh. Okay. All right. Next word, pleasure. 1 or 2 sentences.
Okay. Don't forget to make time for pleasure, y'all. I mean, look, all work and no play makes you very dull. So don't forget
and
to.
You've been married how many years?
I have been married 27 years.
27 years. About that.
And make sure that you make time for pleasure. And you know what, too? Don't be ashamed of it either.
You already know.
Yeah.
All right. And so the next one is passion.
Follow your passion. Don't follow the money. Don't follow the crowd. Follow the passion, because your passion will lead you to your purpose.
Yes, indeed. And then in closing, you are a woman of multiple streams of creativity and purpose. Profits.
Oh,
So
profit.
can you talk about profit?
Invest in your oh Lord, you want me to do invest in yourself?
No, go ahead.
Invest in yourself, and listen, pay yourself first. This is important. And this is not just in money. This is the same thing like with your hair and your health. Make sure that you pay yourself first and you take care of yourself. And also, too, no matter what you are doing, make sure that it's profitable for you in your bank account and in your spirit. Make sure of that. Be comfortable in what you're doing. My husband and I were talking about this morning. We were talking about, I said, I've never seen a scammer get ahead. I've never seen a person that scams all the time. All they do is just make it to the next scam. But if you are really, truly doing what you're supposed to do, the profits will come. And you'll hold on to it. The Bible says the blessings of the Lord maketh rich and addeth no sorrow.
Add no sorrow.
So when those profits come, they will stay.
That's so good. Oh my goodness, it's been such an honor to have you and in this conversation about Black Girl Curls, the nappy lies. We didn't even get to all of the nappy lies. I think we touched on them lightly, but it's what we do here in this space of rebirth rebirthology is to turn blind spots into breakthroughs so that we can continue to access the power of our P. And so I appreciate all of you all for watching. Please share this out. Actually subscribe and like if you enjoyed this show. And because I would like to get to 1,000 followers on YouTube before the end of the year. So, and really in the next 30 days. So I'm giving myself an aggressive goal. Please don't just watch, join, participate, and check out the replays. Thank you so much, Tammy, for coming. I'll have you back for something else because you are so multifaceted and I love it. I love to see you in action. And I thank you for just being a sister friend for real.
Thank you. Thank you for thinking of me. My pleasure to
Yes,
be